Hello to anyone who's going to listen to this. I'm gonna get real, and hopefully this can help at least one person. Fat phobia is real, guys. I have been in a what I considered fat at the time body that wasn't really, and then now morbidly obese body, to use the vernacular. And I love myself more today than I did when I fit within the regular BMI. I read recently that the BMI was used as a research point. It was never intended to be used to determine people's health. It's really a nice tool, but I have a son who works on the farm morning to night. He's just pretty solid. And we took him in for his, I think, 8-year-old checkup, 7-year-old checkup, one of the two. The doctor took his weight and his height, and without even looking at him, she said, "I'm concerned about his BMI." And then she looked at him, lifted up his shirt, saw his six-pack. If you take off his shirt on the back, he's got a ripped back, and she goes, never mind. That's a story I share with my daughter, who is almost 15 and struggles with the exact same thing that I think 90% of the population struggles with, that I did forever. About 8 years ago, I was introduced to the idea of intuitive eating by the lovely Emily Fonsbeck. She's a wonderful registered dietitian. And then started my practice of it about 6 years ago. I've been afraid to really talk about it but one of the principles of intuitive eating is that you have to put weight loss on the back burner. You just have to. And I didn't understand why in a diet-obsessed, fitness-obsessed, health-obsessed culture, we think that you can't be healthy when you're overweight. And also, I was involved in triathlon and cycling. I've done, I think, like 4 or 5 sprint triathlons and several 50-plus cycling events, 50-plus miles. When I was involved in that, I learned that this fat phobia affects all of us, not just those of us who weigh more. One of my friends is a professional triathlete, and one of the first times I met her, I was on a ride with her, and it's interesting when I ride with new people. At the time when I was really active, I was cycling at least 10 to 15 hours a week. So I was strong, and I could go really fast on the straights, but my extra weight made it hard to go up hills. Anyway, I was cycling with her, and she was being encouraging, and she talked about how she hated her own thighs, which were ripped, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. And I heard other women who had enviable bodies talk like that. And when I went, I actually spent 3 weeks at Biggest Loser Resort. My dear, sweet husband. 8 years ago, I was suicidal. That's a topic for another discussion. I'm actually really open about that. If you follow my social media, you'll see. And reach out. If you're struggling, reach out. There are so many crisis lines. I would always tell myself at first, they need to help someone who has real problems. I was ready to take my own life. Those are real problems. I thought that my children and my husband would be better with a more capable wife and mother. I've worked through the pain of that. Doesn't make me cry anymore. But if you're still bearing the pain of that, reach out to a crisis line, a friend, or me. I can direct you to some help. But I do want to say, if you're watching this and you're struggling, you are enough. We live in a scarcity society that tells us we're not rich enough, we're not beautiful enough, we're not smart enough, we're not good enough, we're not organized enough. That was a big one for me when I was struggling. You are enough. I'm enough. There doesn't have to be an adjective, just who I am. So I'm trying to decide. I wanted to just get on here, and I think this is probably enough because it's 6 minutes. I will do more videos later, but I'm going to start speaking out about fat phobia. It's real. Oh, that's where else I wanted to go. I met a marathon runner. She was in her 10th week at Biggest Loser, and her and I, instead of on the hikes, we would run, and she was pretty obsessed. And I'm not going to share her name, but if she watches this, she knows who she is. She's a dear friend now. And on the last day, they weigh you, which I've learned with intuitive eating, scales can just be so triggering, and I saw with this woman. And she didn't lose. And she had just paid $2,500 to lose 5 pounds. And I had lost 4 pounds, but 4 out of 100 was kind of a drop in the bucket. And it was possible that those 4 pounds were water weight. I was upset because I had so much to lose and I had worked so hard. I had killed myself all week. I used to approach dieting and exercise as a form of punishment, to punish my fat body that was disgusting. That's how I felt then. I don't feel that way now. I love myself more now than I ever have. This and all. I've had to make peace. Intuitive eating talks about body positivity. For me, it started with body compassion. I can feel compassion for everyone that I love. And I have many close friends and family who struggle with weight loss and everything, and I love them. And so I just began to think, if I can love them, I can love myself. And love was a hard thing because I loved what my body could do. I loved the strength that I had developed. And at the same time, I wanted to change it. So body compassion resonates with me a little bit better than body love or body positivity. Body neutrality is another term that they're starting to use. Back to the story, this woman, we were sitting there, and she was literally obsessed that she hadn't lost weight. And we were talking, and I looked at her and I said, "You are beautiful." I said, "Look at your body." And she goes, "Yeah, but I have this back fat." I said, "That's not back fat, that's like skin." And she was in a place that she couldn't hear that. And we've stayed in contact, and she's done a lot of counseling and gone to different body compassion retreats, and she's made peace with it. And I hope she's embraced intuitive eating. I'm going to go see her in a couple weeks, and I want to ask her more about it. The point of all of this is that she was, I think, I don't know the exact number, but her body fat percentage was far below even recommended numbers, and she was obsessed with these last 5 pounds she thought she had to lose. Fat phobia affects us all and makes us feel like we aren't thin enough, we aren't strong enough, we're not healthy enough. You are enough. I am enough. I can take up space in the body that I live. Yes, I take up a little bit more space. And the one area that I struggle with the most is flying. I like to fly with somebody and I'll take the corner seat and scoot to the very corner. It was hard to do that on the way to Thailand because one of our flights was 14 hours, the other one was 8 hours with layovers. I was uncomfortable for nearly 24 hours. It sucked. And I don't want other people to feel that way. I am within a size that I didn't need a seatbelt extender. Some people do, and that's okay. My sister and I were riding in a plane together, and she said that one of her friends said they should be charged for 2 seats. Why? And this was a kind friend of hers that I love. We battle enough discrimination that being charged for 2 seats is ridiculous. I guarantee you, if you sit next to someone who's overweight, if they're sweating, it's probably because they feel awful about it. So be a little kind. I know it's uncomfortable, especially on long flights. And I guarantee that person is probably more uncomfortable than you are. What I'm saying isn't easy, and people will disagree with me. If you do, please do so agreeably. Be kind. I'm just a human, just like you. I might have extra weight that I'm carrying. You probably have something you battle as well. I know we all do. And I'm going to sign off right now, and I'll be back.